Hello, and welcome back to the Fandom Alchemists, where we're getting ready for war. A shipping war. My name is Kevin, and today we're mixing two different series that house some of the most passionate shippers I've personally seen. Avatar: The Last Airbender and My Hero Academia. Back before we knew Aang and Katara as the OTP during the original series run of Avatar, the Kataang and Zutara shipping war was all over the place. Jump to today, and My Hero Academia's shippers, well, it's kind of all over the place too, but in a different way, and that's a bag I'm not ready to mentally unpack today. So instead, today we're seeing which members of Class 1A I would personally ship with characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender. For My Hero, I'll be using all the events up until the end of the joint training arc, and for Avatar, I'll be looking at all the events up until the end of Book 3, Fire. To be honest though, this is ultimately my personal opinion, so definitely let us know in the comments if you thought of any different ships. After of course liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. With that said, it's time to head off to war in 3, 2, 1. First up is our little bald-headed monk, Aang. Aang has this boyish charm but is able to buckle down when the time calls for it, which is a quality that he shares with Deku. So I decided to pair Aang with airwrecka, but this definitely goes beyond just the main guy, main girl pairing. Both of these characters complement each other well because in both of their respective relationships with Katara and Deku, a major quality that they share is that they make each other better. They're both huge cheerleaders and #1 supporters for the ones that they care about. For this reason, I stan airwrecka. Next up is the waterbending queen, Katara. And yes, I paired her with Todoroki, and yes, this is Zutara round 2. But hear me out. One of the main reasons that Zuko and Katara shippers were so passionate about their relationship was their connection over their complicated and traumatic familial histories. However, while Katara has generally been shown to receive closure with her family history, Todoroki has yet to fully resolve them, at least by this point in the anime. Katara can really be the rock to support Todoroki on his journey, and as Todoroki has shown while supporting Yaoyorozu, he'll be able to encourage Katara and remind her of her true strength. So move over, Zutara. It's time for Todoroki. Now, onto Fire Lord Zuko. He definitely has this awkward emo thing going for him, so Zuko would want someone who is a lot more on the low-key side. Among the girls in Class 1A, Jiro definitely fits this bill. Jiro's main internal struggle has been dealing with the dual life of being a hero and a rock musician, and this is something that she and Zuko share in common. Zuko can relate to having two seemingly conflicting sides of yourself at war, being a descendant of both Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin. Additionally, I believe having Iroh's approval will definitely be very important to Zuko, and I believe Jiro and Iroh would really get along, singing All Into the Night. Their ship name would be Jiroko, which kinda reminds me of when Tuxedo Mask calls Usagi Usako in Sailor Moon. Speaking of moons, up next is Yue the Moon Spirit, before she became the Moon Spirit. Coming from royalty, according to Northern Water Tribe custom at the time, Yue would need to marry into either a rich or prestigious family. But why not both? Tenya Ida comes from a renowned family of heroes, but unlike Yue's arranged marriage to Han, Ida would actually be a good match for Yue. Both value customs and order, but go about it in completely different ways. Ida's intensity would definitely balance well with Yue's more subdued nature. However, despite both of them being more rule follower types, they both have shown to rebel from time to time. And kinda just more on a surface level, their color schemes being perfectly swapped kinda just makes me smile. Their ship name would be Yuida. Next up is the brain of Team Avatar, Sokka. And I decided to pair him with the brain of Class 1A, Momo Yaoyorozu. Not Momo the Flying Gleamer, so let's make that clear right now. These two would make such a dynamic duo with Momo's more traditional book smarts with Sokka's street smarts. I believe they would form a deep bond over their shared love of knowledge. Now, coming from a wealthy family, you would think Momo would be intimidating to our young Water Tribe warrior, but he's dated a princess before, so this is right up his alley. Sokka's sense of humor would also be a great contrast to Momo's more serious personality, for an opposites attract sorta moment. With their combined brains, no one will be able to outsmart Sakurazu. Now, I was having a bit of trouble pairing Toph just cause she's such a strong and independent personality that it's really hard for me to picture her just settling down with someone. But throughout the series, there is one character that Toph has shown just a little vulnerability towards, and that's Sokka. I think Toph found Sokka's more dorky and lovable idiot side endearing, which is why I decided to pair her with Kaminari. Kaminari has shown to be able to break through tough exteriors like in his interactions with Jiro, and I'm sure Toph would love for someone to beat on every now and then, and Kaminari can definitely take it. Kaminari is also very fun-loving, free-spirited, and mischievous, which I think are all traits that I feel Toph would definitely be drawn to. For this reason, I ship Tophinari. Next up is the leader of the Kyoshi Warriors, Suki. In contrast to Toph, I honestly feel like Suki was difficult because I felt like there were too many choices for her character that worked in my opinion. Suki just feels like that girl that everyone gets along with, but I ultimately decided to go with Hanta Sero as her match. Sero is another fun-loving guy that, despite his more dim-witted moments, is a friend to the end. I feel like he and Suki would be able to get into a bunch of mischief together, whether it's pranks, schemes, and even the occasional fight. Their fighting styles would be really interesting actually, because Suki could use Sero's tape to greatly enhance her maneuverability in combat, and the tape itself could be additional tools for Suki to use. From here on out, this ship will be known as Sukiro. Up next is the leader of the Freedom Fighters, Jet. A lot of people think Zuko is a resident bad boy of the Avatarverse, but in my humble opinion, they're wrong. It's Jet. I feel like in the modern day, Jet would be one of those guys that rolls up in the club with the boys, loud and belligerent, but you know they'd be a good time. I imagine the girl for Jet would be down for anything, livens up the party, and down to fight by his side. And the Class 1A girl that fits the bill is Mina Ashido. Mina and Jet would be the life of the party and would probably be one of those pairs that starts one of those couple gold TikTok accounts. However, what I love about Mina is that she also is definitely not afraid to speak her mind, which may lead to some heated arguments in this relationship, but might balance each other out in the end. Despite this, I still ship Jetina. Rounding out the Katara love interests, we have Haru. Haru is a family man who's not afraid to be vulnerable and openly speaks out about his emotions. And though he may be too sensitive to some, the girl from Class 1A that would really appreciate this trait is Tsuyu Asui. Tsuyu is a kind-hearted individual who's loyal to the end and can be a bit blunt sometimes, which can definitely help Haru when he's stuck in his own thoughts. These characters are both super family-oriented and would always be ready to jump in to help each other when the time comes. Plus, I always kind of feel like these two characters just need a hug, so I thought, why not hug each other, right? So their ship name will be Asuru? Hayu? Hasui? Yeah, let's go with Hasui. Last up on this cruise ship is Ozai's Angels, Mei, Ty Lee, and Azula. You would think I'd have the hardest time pairing Azula, and I even toyed around with her and Bakugo being a pair, but I think I found a pairing that actually works. Azula has only ever shown any sort of attraction to one person, Chan on Ember Island. Chan was kind of this muscle-headed tool though, but I think this kind of signals to me that Azula admires strength. If there's one person in Class 1A that's all about strength and brawn, it's Kirishima. Kirishima has also shown to be able to get along with people with really intense personalities like Bakugo, so I think he would be able to get along with Azula just fine. Kirishima could definitely and literally be the rock to support Azula in her insecurities and vulnerabilities. But I also think Azula's raw talent would be a source of inspiration for Kirishima to train even harder. Some may not like it, but I'm shipping Kirizula. Next up is the girl who stole the heart of the Fire Lord, Mei. It's no secret that Mei's character is designed around the idea of the quote-unquote goth girl, which is why I just went ahead and paired her with Class 1A's resident goth boy, Tokoyami. Ignoring his bird-like head, which in the Avatarverse would not be normal. Both Tokoyami and Mei have shown to be super chill in most situations, but when the time calls for it, they will both go ballistic and fight to the end for those they care about, which is so appropriately dark and romantic. Also, because of Dark Shadow, whenever Mei and Ty Lee hang out, Ty Lee has another friend to hang out with. Henceforth, this ship will be known as Toko Mei. Last but certainly not least, we have our proud circus freak, Ty Lee. Arguably the biggest flirt in the entire Avatar universe, Ty Lee more than anyone would want someone to make her feel special and unique, something that she's yearned for years. In my opinion, she would want someone who can relate to looking for that special thing that makes them stand out from a crowd. This is why I think Deku would be such a perfect fit. Ty Lee would need to make the first move though because of how awkward Deku is around girls, but once past that, Deku would be the biggest supporter to find that quality within yourself that makes you powerful, strong, and independent. Plus Ultra, right? So our last ship of the day is Taiku. So there you have it. All the characters I would ship between Avatar and Class 1A of My Hero Academia. Remember, this list is completely my opinion, so I'd love to hear some of yours in the comments. Who would you have paired with Bakugo? Teo, Class 1B. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time guys, later!